Hey guys, it's Peter Jordan with Lost Angler, and today what we're going to look at is the Clouser Minnow. Now, I'm not going to tie just the traditional Clouser Minnow that's just all bucktail. I'm going to be adding a couple different elements that have improved my catch rate with the Clouser Minnow tremendously. I tied this fly really early on in the history of this channel, but the longer the channel's up, the more the quality of the... I didn't use a great camera back then. And the older the video is, you know, the more grainy the footage is. Like it needed to be redone. So we're going to go back and we're going to re-look at the Clouser Minnow. Great little fly, works awesome. This catches everything known to man. And we're going to look at some different materials that I use, why I use them, whole 9 yards. And I hope you guys find it helpful. And I hope you'll reconsider this fly. It's a great fly. And maybe even change the way you tie it. Okay guys, so we're going to start this with a size 4 B10S Gamakatsu hook. And I like size 4 for most of what I'm going to do for most bass and redfish applications. And if I want to make my fly bigger, I'll go up to a size 2. But that's really about as big as I get for this fly. Just like always, we're going to be tying with clear nylon thread. Because I'm lazy and I don't like switching thread colors. So first things first, we're going to lay down some thread. Alright, once we got that done, we're going to trim off our tag end. Then we're going to add a thread bump. The thread bump is to secure the eyes, obviously. And one thing I want to point out is when you're adding your thread bump, what you want to consider is where you put it. If I put my eyes closer to here, it's going to give it a more up and down jigging motion. If I put it further back here, it lets the fly sink level or more level than it would otherwise. So consider how you want the fly to be. I personally like it my eyes to be pretty far back for a couple different reasons. One's aesthetics, the other one is I prefer that motion because I don't feel like bait fish just plummet down if they can help it. They seem to rise, you know, they have a different, they can go up and down the water column while keeping their body horizontal. Alright, and I'm using large Psuedo Eyes. I'm not a huge fan of using lead eyes that are painted for a number of reasons. My biggest reason for that more than anything else is that they just don't hold up. And I hate having a nice fly where the eyes are tore up. So I figure eighted it, and then I gave it some hail. Uh-oh. Done loon myself up. I have my UV out here in the office. Cured itself shut. So need to put that where it can't be seen as easily. Alright, so I've got that, and then I'm going to go back over it a couple more times. And then we'll clean off some of the excess with my finger and just wipe it off. Alright, next I'm going to hit with a little bit of light, and you can use super glue, hard as nails, whatever you want to do. This is my preferred method because I'm using these guys for salt water, so they're going to get smacked up pretty bad by bonita and stripes and hybrid, and the last thing I want is my eyes going crazy. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Flashabou, and this is Pearl Flashabou. I'm going to grab a pretty decent little amount. This is probably 5 strands, I guess. 5, 6 strands. Not that it really matters. Do however much you want. You can do a lot or do a little. Alright, now that I've got it on there, I'm going to trim this. And the way I trim it is just little by little, tapering down. So it kind of gives an irregular look. And that what it does is that actually will make it so it reflects differently than if you left it all one length. It kind of gives it a shimmer. The next thing I'm going to do is, a lot of people, the traditional Clouser minnow is a bucktail fly. I like to incorporate craft fur, and this is extra select craft fur, the really long kind. And the reason I like to use it is because it has just a lot of motion in the water. It just has a lot of movement. And you can use whatever you like, but this is what I like to use, and I feel like it triggers a few extra fish. Plus, if I want to, I can hit it with a Sharpie marker if I need to change it on the fly. One of the things you want to do is you want to kind of pull the guard hairs out of your craft fur so that everything kind of has a pretty even look to it. And that'll just keep everything from being just a wad. And I want to have it about the same length as my Flashabou. I tie it tight up against the eyes, work my way back. Alright, and then bring it forward, and then I'm going to cut off this tag end right here. Just be careful not to get your thread. Because that always sucks. Alright, tie that down nice and tight. Alright, very nice. Very, very nice. Next up on the agenda, I like to make sure after I've done, I just brush it out with a little brush. Okay. Now, one thing you want to remember with Clouser minnow is sometimes a sparser look is better. If you want to, you can throw a little bit more flash in there. So if I was going to do that, I'm going to take just a slightly thinner amount of Flashabou. And I'm going to do the same thing again, just double over my thread on my bobbin, work it back, taper it again. Grab a little bit more craft fur, not a lot. And again, repeating the process of pulling the guard hairs out. Then I'm going to lay it right down on here. Boom. Very nice. All right. Nice and even. Cool. All right. Now I actually like to tie this pretty tightly down. All right. Next, we're going to be using pink bucktail. Now, just remember, guys, when you're tying this yourself for your home waters, substitute up colors, materials, whatever you need. There's no hard, fast rules. And that probably changed the way that I tie a Clouser minnow. Jeez. 5, 6 times over the years at least. Alright, so this goes hard against the eyes. I'm going to work my way back. Come back forward again. Come towards past the eyes. Now here's my next trick. I've got all this right here, and it's going to form a nice bridge, which is going to give a good shape for the fly. So I'm actually not going to tie it down tight to the eyes, which I see a lot of people do. I'm going to take this, pull it down, then few loose wraps. Take this and pull it. Now one thing you want to do to get the correct, make sure everything's nice and neat, is kind of twist it as you go. And what that twisting action does is it takes the fibers from the bucktail and makes them more uniform. Again, let's be really careful not to cut off our thread because that sucks at this stage. All right. And this gives a really nice look to the fly too, something a little bit more unique. Come right here. I'm gonna loom this up. And I have used just any clear head cement, or Sally Hansen's works great for this, just to give it that look, and works really, really well. Okay. Alright, next, give it the light. Now one thing also too this UV cure does is it also adds some weight to it, which helps it get down to the fish a little bit easier. So that's one of the big things about this fly is it takes you away from, you know, being at the surface. Because most of the time bass, redfish, speckled trout, if they can help it, they're not going to come to the top. That just means that they are themselves more exposed to predators. So if they can help that, they're not going to do it. That should do it. Alright, next. Turn it on over. Now I like to throw a little bit of color in right here. And I like to use purple. And again, this is from my shad pattern, my baby mullet pattern, my little bait fish pattern. Purple is the color I like to use. It's the color I see most often reflected in our little bait fish down here. And I don't need a whole lot of it because a little goes a long way. And again, same thing as we did last time. Bring it over the line. Work it back down. And then we're going to just make sure it's a good spot. Taper it out. Go from there. Now, last color of bucktail. I'm going to use this gray. And where you get your hair from on the bucktail is going to determine the length. Also take a little bit of time when you're picking your bucktail to make sure it has the right length of the fibers for the flies you intend to tie. Combing out these hairs with just a simple comb will get a lot of those guard hairs out. It gives a lot more regular fly. Okay. Put it over the top here. How are we looking? Very nice. All right. And I like the top of my pattern to be longer than the bottom of my pattern. I feel like it gives a good shape. Now I suggest going loose wraps on your way back. And what that helps to do is it's going to help a lot in your cleanup when you're trimming this off. Okay. Gather it up. Use that same trick of twisting it. Just going to bring it on up for me. Very nice. Then I'm going to gather this up. Pull it up nice and tight. Boom, there we go. Alright, so we still have a very nice, neat little head to our fly. And we have down to 2 last materials. The next thing I like to do is I like to use some Peacock Hurl. It adds a natural kind of green iridescence to it. Peacock Hurl is pretty tough. Seems to hold up pretty well fish after fish. 3 or 4 pieces of Hurl is all you need. Alright, and then I want it to be just slightly longer than the gray. So it, again, forms that more tapered body look to it when it's in the water. Loose wraps. We'll bring it up, straighten it up on top of the hook. Go. Very nice. Trim it off. Good to go. And we're still keeping a really nice head shape on here. Next, this is my final effect. This is one of my things I like the most about it. I grab a little bit of red Krystal Flash. I love the Krystal Flash because it doesn't matter what length it is. It gives an amazing kind of cool texture. It shimmers throughout the entire length. I'm going to double it over a couple times just to get a nice little short go. Flip this over. Bring it up. Same as we've done every time. It's a really simple fly to tie. It's a good building block pattern. Tie this off nice and snug. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to do just put it, rest my scissors on the eyes, and bam. That's all there is to it. Really nice. This, guys, is my favorite way to do a Clouser minnow. It's one of my all-time best producing patterns for obvious reasons. Everything eats it. You know, Lefty caught a bajillion and 10 different species on the Clouser minnow pattern. Minnow pattern. Woo! Alabama came out right there, buddy. The Minnow pattern. Got us a Clouser minnow. Yeah, buddy. Sorry. Anyway. Yeehaw. Alright. A couple double half hitches. Boom, that's it. And I'm just going to pull this tight enough to break the line or thread. And it helps seat it really well. Rip off the excess. Grab that loon. About out. Bear with me, guys. So if the guys at Loon want to hook me up, this is your moment, guys. This is your moment to give me the endorsement that you've always wanted, simply based on the fact that I use your product all the time and I'm nearly out. People are worried about a toilet paper shortage. I'm worried about a loon shortage here. All right, so anyway, nice and thin all the way around. Do-do-do-do. And that's it, guys. Clouser minnow. Unbelievably effective fly. Underappreciated. Works great. Less material you do, the better. Seems like sometimes. Find that right style for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the water. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Just remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, keep your eyes open. We're going to be doing a lot more videos. We're should be getting the new TFO fly rods in, so we'll be doing reviews on the new TFO fly rods, the new TFO fly reels. We'll also be doing stuff on the new Cortland fly lines, and eventually we'll get to other stuff like CRKT axes, my bow, just all kinds of stuff. We'll get there. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the water.